mom came into the room and she's like, look at my phone. And then I couldn't see it, so I had to look at mine. I'm like, oh.
I can't bet against Tom Brady. I have the Bucks winning 31-27 and Tom Brady going to his 10th championship.
Yeah, and I really think the Clippers' chance to win the championship was last year, and they were up 3-1 against the Denver Nuggets.
Chris Paul is one of the most underrated players of all time. He's been the best player wherever he goes, and that includes with the Rockets.
You said you can't bet against Tom Brady, and as a Cowboys fan and what I just did last weekend, I am not going to bet against Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl. I mean, that's all I can really say. There's two of the top 5 players in the league, and they are very, very good.
Hello, I'm Taylor Hearn, and you listen to The Outsiders' Opinions with Kevin and Austin.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to our NFL Opinions of the Week. I am Kevin. I am joined by the man that, this is a guy we've had coach our favorite teams, Austin. Mike McCarthy, kind of doing the same thing with the Cowboys now than what he did with the Packers, where he's taking a year off and he's expecting to get more jobs offered to him next season.
Yeah. Apparently, you said that the Cowboys did want him back, right?
Yeah, it was. The Cowboys wanted him back. They expected him to come back. The reports were Jerry thought he could get McCarthy to take a heavily incentivized contract. I think for like 1 or 2 or like 2 to 3 years. And it was just like, because Schottenheimer, they were just shocked. Like they didn't have anything. And they're just like, well, we like Schottenheimer. Jerry knows his dad. So he got hired. But it did seem like that. And it was really, from what I've heard and seen, it seemed like McCarthy was the one that said, no, I'm not doing this. McCarthy got a new agent where I think he was trying to get money. And that's why I kind of talked about the Bears. Bears just interviewed everyone. And I really thought he was going to go to the Saints, because I thought if you leave a job like that, like he had a job with the Cowboys. I do think that's true. I don't think Jerry got rid of him. Jerry was not expecting McCarthy to say no to him, but he should have. I thought he was going to go to the Saints, but the Saints hired Kellen Moore, and then McCarthy is out of the job this season, which it might be. I'm wondering, do you think this is kind of like Marvin Lewis, the Bengals former coach, to where like he'll always be mentioned, but I don't see another team taking McCarthy next season or in the future as a head coach.
I could definitely see another team taking him, because he still was. Marvin Lewis was always 9-7 every year. He didn't have many years above that mark, and he ended his career with a multitude of seasons that were not necessarily the best. I mean, he won 12 games in 2015. He won 11 games in 2013. He won 11 games in 2005. Those are all the seasons he's won more than 10 games. He also won 10 exactly in 2009, 2012, and 2014. But after 2015, he won 6 games, 7 games, and 6 games. That's 3 straight years of disappointing football. He also never won a playoff game, where McCarthy has. I think it's a little bit different. And I believe Marvin Lewis is now where he's I think with Arizona State with something. Or is he? Let me see. No, I don't think he is. He was an assistant coach with the Raiders last year. Maybe he signed something, but yeah, recently he was signed as the or last year he was an assistant coach for the Raiders, but we'll see what that means for this season, whether he'll be an assistant coach or move again somewhere else. But yeah, he's not gotten a chance, but he did have a long time. I mean, 16 years you're with a team and you win 0 playoff games and 7 appearances. That can definitely turn teams off.
Yeah, that's a fair point. And yeah, like McCarthy is a good coach, like we've talked about before. I just don't see a team hiring him and saying, "We want you to call plays." I think the way to go is sort of the Nick Sirianni and Dan Campbell. Like they don't call plays; they let their offensive coordinator.
True,
call
I
plays.
definitely think that's the way. But I'll go. You said that you still don't see someone trying to hire Mike McCarthy next year, but I'll be devil's advocate a little bit more. You don't have many coaches that have won Super Bowls that are still trying to coach, and those coaches get turned down. I know that happened with Belichick, but Belichick, I mean, he quickly found a college job, and I think he wanted a different sort of challenge. But coaches that have won Super Bowls usually, I know recently it's been Belichick, Bruce Arians who's retired, Andy Reid, Sirianni who's still with his team, but a lot of the team, Sean Payton obviously left New Orleans and quickly found a job, and I think if he was done with Denver at some point, he still could probably find one. Because again, you just don't find many coaches that have won Super Bowls that still want to coach. I think those coaches usually get as many chances as they want in most cases.
Yeah, you make a great point talking about he has a ring, and it's like I got a ring, I know how to do it. And the Cowboys ending is weird because like he could easily blame. He's like, I was working for Jerry, I didn't have a good roster, so I could see a team giving him a chance. But to me, teams are looking for sort of that young guy, that young offensive coordinator. Like, okay, this guy's young, he has time to grow. Kind of seeing what McVay has done with the Rams, but you have Kevin O'Connell. It just seems to me the new wave of hiring coaches is more, here's a guy under a good team. I like how he plays. I want him to call my plays, and he's a rising star. I don't see a lot of teams going with this guy's done it. He's older. He's more experienced. Which, like, you do have the Broncos with Sean Payton. You do have the Raiders with Pete Carroll. But to me, it's very rare for a team to do that. And I don't see McCarthy taking an offensive coordinator job. So we'll have to see. But I don't. I think his name may be floated about next year, but I don't see it being actually accepted. Even though I do think he's a good coach, to me it fit with the Cowboys or the Saints. And he said no to the Cowboys, which I think kind of speaks to that situation. He was kind of tired of the Cowboys. So I really have no idea what to expect from him.
I don't know necessarily what to expect, but I don't think he's done getting coaching opportunities. And along with that, I don't think he's done looking for coaching jobs. I don't think he's going to retire or anything. So I think he'll still have opportunities if he wants to go there. It's just going to be whether or not he can have success. Again, I truly believe that having that Super Bowl victory with the Packers is something that will keep his career maybe alive longer than if he had lost that singular game.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. You brought it up, and that's a great point. What opportunities do you see happening? Like, do you see happening next year or?
I mean, there's a lot of teams that have not stuck by coaches for very long. I'm a 3-year person. I like to see at least 3 years, as long as it's not an Urban Meyer situation. But I think Dave Canales with the Panthers, we'll see how this next year goes. I could see him being let go. There's going to be questions every year with the Giants, with some of these teams that are worse off. We'll see what happens with the Raiders. I mean, if the Raiders have another terrible, terrible season, I mean, they got rid of Antonio Pierce relatively quickly. I could see the same thing going into the future. I think there's going to be questions regarding Arizona. There's going to be a lot of teams that I think could end up being open. It's just whether or not they're going to be looking for a McCarthy-type coach or a young guy who's never coached before.
Yeah, I think the big thing to me is that what teams are going to be looking for, but we'll have to see. I'll let you close this one out.
Yeah, thank you guys for listening. Please let us know what you guys think about Mike McCarthy. Do you think he'll get another head coaching opportunity? Do you think he'll coach in the NFL again? Please let us know in the comments.